Florida Gator fans will remember that there was a time when Steve Spurrier used to have his choice of quarterbacks, 3 or 4 on the depth chart, and he used to kind of juggle them around and play 2 and 3 in a football. He's eventually made it to the NFL. Maybe not quite that kind of talent. We will soon find out at Florida with Treon Harris playing most of the season in place of Jeff Driskel last year. We've got David Waters from SEC Sports Insider to help us sort out this Gator quarterback situation. David, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with Treon Harris. So let's start there because he was the guy that got most of the playing time down the stretch once they went away from Driskel. Driskel got hurt again and also got benched. Freshman. Completes just under 50% of his tosses, 1,000 yards, did throw 9 touchdowns against 4 picks. He's got some mobility. So what do we see out of Treon Harris last year, and how do you think he projects?
Well, I think, first of all, it kind of starts with, McElwain's offense. If Harris is the guy, does McElwain tailor the offense more around him? McElwain kind of went more to a spread at Colorado State, of course, that he did at Bama. That's kind of a necessity with his the style of players there. So yeah, I mean Harris, he'll fit in more to a spread offense. Will McElwain adjust? Can Harris fit into what McElwain already has kind of done? Like you said, he is more mobile. With the offensive line, the situation the way it is. Maybe that's the route McElwain needs to go. The offensive line is going to be very, very young, so maybe they need the mobility of Harris. Grier's not bad in that department either, but Harris, that's kind of where he excelled at. He, like you said, he has more experience. He's played in the big stadiums. He played in Tennessee, played at FSU, as a Gator quarterback. So, he's got some SEC experience going into this season. That's probably going to be key with, like I said, the offensive line. That's going to be a big deterrent for Florida's offense. So Harris that might be the part where he excels and where he gets to lead in the race.
David is, by some reports, number 1 on the depth chart right now. Came out as your service number passer coming out of high school football. So much expected out of Will Grier. What do we know about him at this point?
You say, if you really follow what most people are saying, yeah, he probably did grab a slight lead out of the spring game. Harris missed some time in the spring, so Harris was to get Grier was able to a week where Harris wasn't there, so he was able to get a week more practice under McElwain's offense. Like you said, he's more prototypical. McElwain has done more in the past with his Bama quarterbacks, and he can move a little bit too. He's not as mobile as Treon Harris, but he showed in the spring game. He can avoid a sack, he can roll out a little bit, and if I'm an open receiver. There was, reports last year we did have a lot of turnovers in camp, so maybe that comes back to haunt him a little bit. But we have in-game experience. He got injured a little bit in fall practice last year, and probably he didn't get as many reps as he could have there. A little back injury, but I think he fits all what McElwain wants to do a little bit more to make up for maybe the offensive line. Being so bad, McElwain showed in the spring game he can kind of get creative and throw some more screen passes, little short, quick passes to help being as mobile and the offensive line out.
Third quarterback in the mix that could put some heat on the other 2 guys in Luke Del Rio. His situation was he was a 3-star, like a top 30 pocket passer coming out of high school, chose Alabama, had to walk on there. Went to Oregon State, which seemed to be a good fit for him at the time with Mike Riley, who loves to throw the football in a West offense. Now they go to Gary Anderson's offense, who came from Wisconsin. He loves to run it, wants a mobile quarterback. Not a good situation for Del Rio. So he's possibly coming to Florida. What do we know about Jack Del Rio's son?
Yeah, Del Rio here from his dad coached right here in Jacksonville for the Jaguars for quite a few seasons. McElwain knows him pretty well. He kind of started the recruitment process when Del Rio, chose to go to Alabama in the first place. So, McElwain started the process, and there's some, rumors floating around out there that while, Jack, defensive coordinator for the Broncos, of course, McElwain was there in Colorado as well, so that might have kind of started the conversation back then. So, but kind of have to wonder, yes, Florida doesn't have a lot of experience with Harris or Grier, but there's a guy who, Bama quarterback, yeah, there's a lot of talent there, but then, transfer to Oregon State. So there's, some red flags there. That, is he afraid of competition, or is he really just looking for the right situation? And I think it's probably more looking for the right situation. I think he has a little rapport with McElwain, so that's probably the situation he's looking to get into. The job's not Harris's or Grier's right now by any means. So yes, maybe he, if Harris Grier, whoever wins the job, struggles this year, then he might get the job next year. But going ahead and getting there in camp, maybe showing his signs, may not be a bad thing.
Yeah,
and
the gun a little bit,
transfer.
Much different.
Yeah, and Florida also got this week finally official Josh Grady transfer from Vanderbilt, probably coming in and going to get thrown in the mix as well. And you mentioned Everett Golson. Yeah, he did visit Florida for a little while with McElwain. Of course, didn't see it as a fit. Ended up going to rival FSU. So, there should be some little fun there. He had his choices to go, and so FSU it was.
Treon Harris, the starter at the end of last year, but Will Grier right now, by most reports, the number one guy in the depth chart and expected starter this fall. We shall see how it plays out because these two kids obviously have their apparent strengths running and throwing. All right, David Waters of SEC Sports Insider. Hey, David, thanks so much for joining us.